Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this late afternoon, early evening beer review. And this is an odd time because I'm actually going to be doing, it's a 3-day weekend, so I decided to go and do 2 beer reviews in a single weekend. And why? Because I have a lot of things to go and catch up on. So originally I was going to go and purchase another growler fill, or I'm going to close this because the babies are by the door. They want attention, but they've been fed, so they don't need any attention. So I was going to refill the growler, but then my sister called me and I had to go and run some errands with her, so it was getting kind of late for a growler fill, so I just decided to go and stop by the liquor store, Tamura's, on the way home, and pick up a bottle of a local beer. And so this is from Lanikai Brewing. It's the one in town. Kailua, that is. This town, not town, which is Honolulu. And I've had this on draft before at their, brewing location. This is Pinehopple Swipe. And this is a double dry hopped sour ale with Hawaiian pineapple. So 6.5 ABV. So this is a sour. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like I said, I've had it on draft. I've never had it in a bottle. So let's go and read the back, shall we? Okay. Maukatu Makai. From the mountains to the sea, LBC's seasonal tribute to Hawaii's rare and exotic fruit and flowers. Each limited edition batch is made to showcase our favorite local ingredients and flavors. Island source, island inspired. Pinehopple Swipe. Inspired by Hawaiian bootleggers of the 19th century who would make the most of whatever they could find, Pinehopple Swipe is a refreshing sour ale brewed with local pineapple, then double dry hopped with Eldorado and Denali to provide a soft aromatic hoppiness. So you can see the rating there. Despite it being dry hopped, it doesn't have much of a hop rating. And I would venture because that's a sour. It's also fairly, it's got a bit of oomph for a sour too, but enough to that. Let's just get to this. Before it gets too dark, that is. Of course, into a tulip. Ooh. So, a nice golden yellow, clear golden yellow, nicely carbonated, with a fizzy to frothy, thick white head. Nice. So you have the pineapple there, and you also have the hopping there, which kind of combines quite nicely. The hops providing a sort of herbaceous, kind of piney, resiny sort of background to the main note of pineapple, fermented pineapple, which is quite a smell that you know in Hawaii when you have like fresh pineapple that you've left out for a little bit too long. It gets that smell. That's the smell I'm smelling. And around that is the hops. Then underneath that is a very light malting. The smells, it's difficult because it smells sweet from the pineapple, but the malting doesn't smell juicy per se. Well, let's get to this, shall we? Thick on the palate. And with this big sour blast in the finish. Deep citric sour blast in the finish. There's some hoppiness in the mids there, but all of it is kind of overwhelmed by the sourness there. Sourness is definitely sour. There is a pineapple essence, especially in the long finish. You know, that's an effervescent note. It remains on the palate and up into the nose. and almost like a white wine like aspect to it in the front. Not much in the way of residual sugars. Or the taste of the malts on the palate. There is definitely malt there in the mouthfeel, the thickness of it, and I know oily is usually used to describe stouts and other dark beers, so I'm trying to think of another word. But there is a certain viscosity to it, a viscosity to the mouthfeel. Now, the fresh off the tap version definitely has more of a hop presence in the front. And I've had it fresh off the tap about 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 separate sessions since I've been there. And it definitely has a little bit less of a sour bite to it. Now that might be differences in between the batches, or it just might be the artifact of aging, in that hops tend to, the more volatile hop notes tend to decline, and sours tend to get more sour with time. I would definitely say that this is a tart bomb. But it is a tart, especially fresh, when you get fresh off the draft. It is a tart bomb with some nice nuances to it. It's not just scorch your tongue off sort of acidity. As it warms up, a little bit of the hop bitterness is starting to emerge as remnants in the finish. Definitely still underneath that lingering sour aspect. And all in all, I wouldn't say that this is refreshing, but it is definitely interesting. I would say that it's I'd say it's better off the draft than off the bottle. I'm not sure if that's just because of batch differences or, just ultimately freshness. In the bottle, it's certainly not bad, but it's definitely taking the sourness to another level. Why that is, I don't know. So not much more for me to say about this, other than it's still on the shelf, so give it a shot if you got a chance. Lanikai is definitely trying to become the local brewer that really focuses in quite hard on the wild ale, the farmhouse saison, harvest ale, sour sort of category here in Hawaii, and I obviously kind of really support that because sours are a style that I really enjoy. And it kind of makes sense for Hawaii because sours tend to be more refreshing, and honestly, we don't really have stout weather here in Hawaii all that much, to tell the truth. So if you get a chance, give this a shot, especially straight off the draft if you can. And that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.